So welcome back to another video. So here we're gonna be testing a very El Clasico team, which is the Walrein, Charizard, and Swampert into the Ultra League. So this is the most common team where you will see across the rankings where you go higher and higher. So Walrein, Charizard, and Swampert each having a unique cross coverages. So the first game, Walrein into the Cobalion, we're gonna swap into the Swampert, and getting ahead on energy is the only play here. So the my opponent decides to throw here, might be a Sacred Sword, but no, it's a Stone Edge. Very interesting by my opponent, where he went for the Stone Edge. I think he was running a um, Iron Head Stone Edge. So there are people who actually run that as well because to cover the fairy types in those situations. But I think Sacred Sword and Stone Edge is a very liable option. So Tapu Fini swaps in, and we went for an Earthquake, and we got the first shield, and while we get to an Earthquake, they got to a Surf eventually, and now we have to rely on our Swampert to take this mid-game matchup. But I don't think this Hydro Cannon is enough to KO the Tapu Fini because it's so bulky. We're going to be swapping into the Walrein, hoping to catch a Surf here. Let's see, we catch it. Yes, we do catch it. So beautiful on the Walrein. So now the Cobalion swaps in once again. So very interesting to see what moveset it has here. So I'm going to be no shielding. Okay, it's a Sacred Sword, so he was running Sacred Sword, but I don't know why he went for the Stone Edge in against the Swampert. It's okay, we all do mistakes, we all make mistakes. It's very good. So we go for the Icicle Spear bait, and my opponent falls for it, and now we go for the Earthquake, making one shot the Cobalion. Boom, there it goes down. So what's in the back? So still the Tapu Fini comes in. So Tapu Fini throws its energy on the Walrein as you saw earlier. So we're gonna be coming in with the Charizard, wing attack down, and there's a Skeldritch in the back. Very interesting backline, not hoping to see the Skeldritch, but it's a very spicy Pokemon where I was seeing through the Great Leagues as well, and now even I saw one in the Ultra League. I don't know what it moveset is, but I know it has access to Shadow Ball, so that's the reason why I decided to shield there. Anyway, it's my last Pokemon, so I will decide to shield myself. So Blast Burn did not do as much as damage which I thought. So we're gonna be catching the move onto the Swampert here. So Disarming Voice is still not effective against the Charizard, but still I don't want to take a risk and take it to like a 1 HP and a dream, and that because there is a quite chance, right? So that's the first game here. So very viable team. So I ran 2 sets with this team. I got a result of 8-2, which I won 8 battles, and 2 of them were losses, but still it was very close. So second game, Walrein into the Walrein into the Swampert. So we're gonna be powder snowing the Swampert down. So here in this matchup, always, if you want to save your Walrein, always shield the first charge move, because first charge move will always be an Earthquake, no matter what it will be. Because in the Ultra League, what happens is the bulk of the Pokemons is very high, so they will not try to bait in those first occasions. So they will go straight for the charge moves like the Earthquake or the very hard hitting charge moves in order to save. So they swap into an Ampharos. So Ampharos is a very an annoying Pokemon for my team because it does very well against the Charizard, it does very well against my Walrein. So Ampharos getting a new viable move, which is the Trial Blaze, which ensures that it gets a 100% attack raise, which is by 1 stage. So now the Ampharos is boosted by 1 stage, which is not good for my team, and it even gets to another Trailblaze in time, which is so much like to bear for. The Swampert will go down. Yes, it goes down to the Trailblaze, and now my opponent is like in a very nice situation, but my hope is to come in with the Walrein, Icicle Spear down the Ampharos as soon as possible, because I don't want this Pokemon to be around and do super effective damage on my backline. So that's the reason why I throw there. And the Swampert, I think it has the Earthquake ready to go because it's swapped out with a lot of energy. Yes, so the Earthquake lands for a good neutral damage, which actually it does more than the neutral damage. So we're gonna be throwing the Icicle Spear off, and in the back what it's there, and it's a Charizard. So my Charizard is a Hundo Charizard, by the way. So I got it like around 8 to 9 months back. It's very old, but I actually charge TM'd it away for the Blast Burn before we got the Classic Community Day. So that's the reason why I'm using this, even though I have a PvP IV, because I think sometimes it's cool to run a Hundo Charizard, like flexing my opponent, but I don't think they will get to know. But still, having the hundo on my end with winning helps me to win the CMP tie sometimes, so which is good. But I do recommend you to run the PvP IV1s if you have those. So next battle we have is the Wolverine on the lead versus a Typhlosion. Once again, a very bad matchup, but I didn't swap out because we can, as long as we put more pressure on the Earthquake. So always try to shield the first one, as I said. So it's an overheat this time, okay? It's an overheat Typhlosion. So due to the overheat, now my opponent gets a debuff on his side. So debuff of attack by one stage, and they decide to shield anyway. Okay, so we CMP tie with that Typhlosion, and they get to the overheat once again in time. So this time it will not be enough to KO because it got debuff. So we will be throwing the Earthquake as the Typhlosion will go down. The reason why I didn't swap into my Swampert is I thought that they might have a grass type coverage usually, but no. They came in with a Scizor this time. So Scizor got a buff for X-Scissor in this season, but it doesn't make it a top meta still. But it's a really good Pokemon to have in your roster because it is good actually. So now we're gonna be going into the Swampert here in the back. So we're gonna be applying those Dragon Claws as much as possible to take the Swampert into the yellows, which is always nice. And my opponent Hydro Cannons me down, so it's fine. We can come in with a Wall Rain. You still have an Icicle Spear ready to go. And now it's the chance where what my opponent does. So he decides to shield. I come in with my own Swampert. Now the only win con for my opponent is to landing an Earthquake. So I don't want it to land, and we shielded the Earthquake, and now my opponent decides to surrender anyways because it's over, because we're gonna be landing the Earthquake against the Scizor as well, and Scizor does not have a moveset to threaten my Swampert. It's okay. So as I told you, I ran 2 sets with this team. So I'm just showcasing you one of the best battles which I had in my set. So now we have a Togekiss lead. So this Togekiss is not a big trouble for my team. We can handle the Togekiss, but they make a beautiful swap into the Cursalia, catching the charge move. Beautiful swap by my opponent, and now we'll be swapping into the Charizard, and we swap in pretty late, and this Cursalia is I think it throws the Moonblast in time. So this is a very interesting matchup between Cursalia and Charizard, because Charizard resists the Grass Knot as well as the Moonblast. But if this Cursalia had Future Sight, so the mid-game matchup would have been pretty different, because I needed to give up shields in order to maintain the mid-game matchup, and they also have a Grass Knot to actually bait me with that. So it was a very hard situation if it was a Future Sight Cursalia, because it would have been tough for me, because I swapped in pretty late, and at the same time I will be very behind on the energies. And there's a Greninja in the back, so Greninja once again. I think for Greninja in the Ultra League, it has more like the bulk, you could say, so it's more viable as well at the same time. So they throw the first charge move. It's a Hydro Cannon, so I'm gonna let it go because I still have 2 shields, and this Greninja can't do more with the fast move. It always hits with the charge moves eventually. So now I'm gonna go ahead and shield. I'll go ahead and shield beautifully. Okay, and stopping the Hydro Cannon once again from the Greninja, and we're gonna be throwing another Hydro Cannon, hoping to get the final shield of the game. Yes, we do get it, and now it's the matter of where we relocate ourselves. So Night Slash coming up from the Greninja. Okay, takes out the Swampert. So my only win con now is the Wolverine, and remind you, I also have the Charizard to cast the charge move if I want to from a Togekiss, but it's okay. We need to watch out for the Aura Sphere or the Ancient Power, which is likely coming from the Togekiss, because they swapped out with a lot of energy. But they're gonna be swapping in, and yes, they're gonna ready to throw the charge move. I'm gonna see what it is. It's an Aerial Ace. Okay, anyway, inside we needed to shield at that point because we were so low on health, and I don't even think if a charm snuck through we'll be able to get to another charge move in time. So before we get to the Icicle Spear and take down the Togekiss, that's a really good game. So very important sometimes is knowing what your opponent does or not. So in this game we have a Virizion lead, so which is very bad for my Wolverine, and I'm going to be instantly swapping into the Charizard, and they save swap with a Tapu Fini. Obviously, this is a losing matchup for me but what I want to do is at least I could coming with a shield advantage is really good for me, and they even shield the blast burn. So nothing is going right for me, and I even didn't get to another blast burn in time as they decide to throw the surf. So I'm okay with it. But in this situation, I make a mistake. I actually come in with the wall run. So why it was a mistake, like in the sense, I'll tell you why. Because Swampert cannot hardlock a Virizion down as long as it has a Sludge Wave. And even the Sludge Wave will not one-shot the Virizion. And the Virizion, by the time we get to the Sludge Wave, I think it would be around 2 Leaf Blades or 2 Sacred Swords. And yeah, that's likely what's gonna happen. And I think Swampert against Tapu Fini was more better than Swampert against the Virizion, right? So because we take super effective damage from the Virizion, and now my only way to take down this Virizion is with the Wall Rain with 2 Icicle Spears, because that's the gameplay, right? And this Virizion is so bulky at the same time. You can see it can hang on to 2 Icicle Spears, I believe, if it's a PvP IV1, but it's very hard to get PvP IV because you need to do a lot of trades for that. And now see, but very fortunately for me, this Virizion was of Sacred Sword and Stone Edge moveset, so they didn't have Leaf Blade to threaten me, so which was really nice. But still, this Virizion absolutely hangs on with a HP and a Dream, and even hurts me more, and which is not very likely. So in the back there was a, in this game I think this was Gliscor. Yes, it is a Gliscor in the back, and they even, oh man, insult to the injury, they catch the Hydro Cannon on the Tapu Fini. I guess I should have held it, but this was a really back and forth, and I catch the charge move on the Wall Rain. I think in this game I couldn't have done anything more, because getting a Virizion lead and hard locking it by a Charizard, I guess it was really nice, and Gliscor also hangs on with a good amount of health down there. So this was the final battle, I believe. So do try this theme, and I'll see you in the next video with the Ultra League. Thank you.